Hello everybody, my name's Mark and I am directing next season. I'm really sorry not to be with you this evening, but I am sorry, not sorry, to be in the Greek islands and therefore not in Bexley Heath. Without further ado, I will be directing the July 26 production, which will be the play version of Willie Russell's Blood Brothers. I stress that it's the play, not the musical, because it is. And I recently directed, a couple of years ago, the play version, not the musical, of Sweeney Todd at the Geoffrey Whitworth Theatre. We did add music and song within that piece. Very confusingly and equally confusingly, this play by Willie Russell does include music. It includes one song which eventually did in fact make it into the full-scale musical. And as scripted, this song appears quite early in the arc of the story. We will be using the song throughout the entire play, variously sung by various characters to underscore and add atmosphere to the story that we are telling. As I had to keep saying when I directed Sweeney Todd, not the musical, it's not the musical. At the Geoffrey Whitworth, I will continue to keep saying it's Blood Brothers, but it's not the musical here. It is the play. The play predates the musical. The play was originally written and performed in a workshop format in secondary schools and then subsequently made it onto the stage at the Everyman Theatre in Liverpool and ultimately was developed, as many of us know, into the now legendary musical, which came firstly into the West End with Barbara Dickson in the lead role and has been on tour and on Broadway and is really, really well known. So well known that I probably don't need to tell you much about the plot, but I will. So I'll try and keep all of this fairly concise. There is a bit of a handout, I believe, either old-fashioned paper or maybe that's available digitally, that I've written to accompany this diatribe. I have a tendency to ramble when I'm on video because nobody interrupts me, so I will really strive to keep this brief. I'm going to talk just about the plot very briefly. I'm going to talk about the characters very briefly, and I will talk about my kind of concept for the production and how we will approach it. It's all very early days. This production has been confirmed very recently, so my thoughts and kind of initial concepts around it are embryonic and will develop. But here goes. So the plot. It concerns a working class mother who has a brood of children already. She is a cleaning lady whose husband has recently left her and she discovers she is pregnant with twins. She works for a middle class family called the Lyons family, and that couple live in a very large and rather lonely house. Unable to have children that they crave, and Mrs. Lyons offers our protagonist, Mrs. Johnson, the olive branch of taking one of the twin boys and adopting him in the name of helping Mrs. Johnson and avoiding others in her family, her other children being taken into care, etc. So, what ensues is the story of those two boys, but also the story of course, the two women who have either given birth or have raised the twin boys. Years later, and I think the boys are 3 years old, they meet completely unbeknownst to them that they are siblings or indeed twins and form a very firm and enduring bond and friendship. And indeed, as childhood chums, they become blood brothers and form a pact to remain so. The play follows their trajectory over the course of a number of decades. So all characters and all actors within the piece will play the characters as they age across, in the case of the twin boys, from the age of around 3 till kind of late 20s, early 30s. The two women who play the mothers will be aging from kind of, 20s up to kind of 40s. Ages are really flexible in this piece. There are other siblings as well, who are part of the action. So the play is in common with lots of Willie Russell's other work, i.e. Shirley Valentine, Educating Rita, Stags and Hens. It's about predominantly, I would say, class is the kind of overriding theme, and the kind of nature versus nurture debate comes under the spotlight. You have one child who is offered the opportunities and education which are not afforded to his twin brother and the twin brother Mickey's siblings. So the play looks at what that means, how does that manifest, and also obviously looks at the life experience of the working class boy and his siblings who grow up in a house full of love but without the opportunities and trappings of kind of middle class privilege. The plays also, so that's one, the kind of the headline theme. But within that, it's just a cracking story. It's funny, it's touching. It's a play about siblings and childhood friendship and love and loyalty and maternal love, romantic love later in the play. It's about how we establish friendships as children based upon a total lack of prejudice or awareness of otherness or other people's backgrounds or social class or difference, and how as we grow older those things creep in and play a role and inform our choices and our relationships. It's funny, it's really touching. Spoiler alert, it is ultimately a tragedy. It's a short, tight, vivid story which will require, and here we go into the casting, a tight ensemble who will be, I'm thinking probably on stage most of the time. There are multiple roles that some of the characters will play. So for example, we have Mrs. Johnson, the working class mother, and her opposite number, Mrs. Lyons. These are both fully fleshed, fully charged, wonderful female roles. Willie Russell actually does write for a man incredibly well for women, in my view. Women in the audience here this evening may disagree, but in the way that Rita and Shirley Valentine are 360-degree kind of fully rounded women, these two lead women are equally complicated, complex, human, flawed, and I think will be a joy to play for any woman, for any actresses out there. The two boys, the twin brothers, obviously really pivotal roles. It's their story, largely, that we are following. Their childhood friend Linda is a really crucial figure. We meet her when she's around 7 years old, and she forms romantic attachments to one or possibly two of the twin brothers, and we follow her journey until she's kind of 27, 28, early 30s. Again, all very flexible. We have a narrator figure as scripted. I'm going to have a mini Greek chorus of 2, maximum 4 working class women. These would be women who are the contemporaries of Mrs. Johnson, possibly her neighbours. These are women who will be on stage throughout. They'll be judging, they'll be watching, they'll be commenting, they'll be moving the story forward as narrators of the piece, as scripted. It's likely they will do perhaps a bit more of the singing. The singing is something that nobody should be anxious or worried about. This is not the musical. I'm not sure if I mentioned that, but it's not. The singing will be mainly ensemble, perhaps some harmonies. Karen Crook, who worked with me on Sweeney Todd as music consultant, is music director for this one, and will be arranging some vocals for us. We will work with ability, so nobody will be stretched out of their comfort zone. An ability to kind of hold a tune is really all we need. Please don't be put off from auditioning if singing is not your thing. We will accommodate. I'd also be really interested in hearing from any musicians, any actors who play musical instruments, because we definitely would be keen to have those in the mix. So back to the narrators. So 2 to 4 working class women on stage throughout. The other actors within the piece are cast as Mickey, the working class twins' siblings, probably 3 or 4 of those, who will also play variously other characters within the piece. So there would be, there's a milkman, there's a gynecologist, there's I think a policewoman. So again, they will either be playing siblings one moment, other characters another, maybe playing instruments, maybe doing a bit of singing, maybe just on stage as ensemble. So yeah, I think that's everybody. So 2 to 4 narrators, 2 mothers, twins, and 3, 4 siblings. I think that's it. If that doesn't reach 9 to 11, then I've missed somebody out. I'm going to be working on the audition notice over the summer. We'll be auditioning, I think it's the 19th of October. So more information about all of that to come. If you have any questions that you would particularly like to ask me about casting or anything really, my email address is on the handout/digital version of this that I have supplied. And finally, just a little bit about the production style. I like to work with a group of actors who kind of have a lot of freedom to make their own choices in terms of finding their characters. I do like to have actors either off book or pretty much off book at the start of rehearsals, because I don't really want to watch a group of people reading a book. I want to watch you acting and trying out different approaches. So that's something I am really keen on. But I will be casting early, but obviously not working on the piece for months and months until we get into next year. So you would have plenty of time to learn your lines. What I've done previously when I've directed other theatres is have an initial, once cast, read through of the play where I give out script edits, cuts and changes. We would allocate lines according to the ensemble nature of the piece, and then you can go away and learn it or get familiar with it. Then we would probably have a couple of fairly early music calls where we just learn and get recordings of some of the music, so that you can again go away and learn that and get familiar. And then I have kind of 1-to-1, sometimes 2-to-1 character sessions. So in the case of Sweeney Todd, it was Mrs. Lovett and Sweeney Todd having character session with me because their characters were so intertwined. It made sense to do that. As a duo, I would probably, for example, do the same with the twin brothers in this case. Most of the others would have a kind of one-on-one character session where I get you to think about with me, you know, who they are, what's their backstory, what happened to them until the point we meet them in this play. So that when we hit the ground running with rehearsals, you've got a really strong sense of who you are and why you're there as a character. It's how I like to work when I'm in something as an actor, so I just simply apply it to how I direct something. And my job as a director is I have to have an overall concept and a kind of vision for the piece, which, as I say, at the moment is a work in progress because it's very early days, but it's sort of there already I can kind of picture it. If I had to direct it tomorrow, I could probably have a go. But to have a kind of vision is the job of the director and a kind of concept, and then to be there to support you and help you tell the story. That's long enough. I said I'd keep it brief. I've failed in that mission. I'm going to sign off. Like I say, it's a great story. It's a great play. It's not the musical, but there is music. And I really hope to see as many of you as possible come along to auditions. I'm really pro-diversity in my casting. Everybody's welcome. It's a completely open book. I haven't pre-cast. I don't pre-cast. I haven't had time to pre-cast because I've only just found out I'm doing it. So it really is. I love the casting process. I love just seeing who walks through the door. And I won't know a lot of you, and that's really exciting to me. And have a great evening. Get in touch if you need to, and I'm going to the beach. Take care.